Yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to Computer Music Academy's weekly homework podcast. I am your host, TaurusBeats. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Welcome to episode 118 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. Shout out to my man, RTO Beats, for providing us with the new intro. We'll be using that for a few weeks and then moving on to something else. What are we doing? So, as I've said before, let me turn my headphones up a little bit. As I've said before, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, what I'm doing in this first month or so, actually, we're officially in the second month of this year, so shout out to that. But what I'm doing now is collecting a lot of data, seeing, because we have a lot of new members, and shout out to everybody who has been coming over and joining as of late. Shout out to every single one of you. Now, there's some that have been participating, and there's still some that have not. So we got to get more people in the podcast. But I digress. I'm collecting data, and I'm seeing who's capable of what, and I'm kind of gauging where we go with the next assignment, or in many cases, these are going to be lessons based on what I'm seeing in, the previous assignments. And that's what I've been doing for these first few weeks. So one thing I definitely noticed is the song structure for a decent amount. I'm not going to say it's a lot, but a decent amount of our members, the song structure when it comes to actually putting beats and songs together, song structure kind of isn't there. And you know me, I'm a person, I absolutely hate a static loop, even if it's only for 30 seconds. I think that's about the limit. Between 30 and a minute, depending on the verse or what's actually happening. I think that's about the limit. You have to have some kind of change ups, even if it's just a core beat and you keep bringing in elements and taking elements out, adding new stuff, let's say for the hook, and you got some scratches, vocal samples, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The beat has to change in some way. I can't stand a beat that would just go on the same 2 or 4 bar loop for 3 or 4 minutes. It would drive me nuts. It really would. So, not to say that anybody here is doing that, but that's very important for us to do, is actually have different elements of the song to where it has dynamics, peaks and valleys, so to speak. And that's what this assignment is all about. This is one I like to call Don't Look Back. And we did this before. And the object is to have at least 4 different patterns or sections of your song, be it the intro, the verse, the hook, the chorus, whatever. To at least have 4 different patterns of your particular submission. And we actually have, even though it's a little less than usual, we actually have 11 submissions. But what's even greater about this? It's more new guys. Oh, I'm excited. The majority of the people in this assignment are from this year, are new recruits, and I'm excited to see how they handle this. So let's get things started with my man who came in, I believe it was last week was his first week, and actually did some real good business. So let's see what he's doing this time. My man, DIXI Freely. no. Was that it? Oh, dude. It stopped at like a minute 20. Oh, no. Was that it? Hold on, man. Hold on. If need be, we will run this back. Is that the whole joint? Let's find this joint real quick. Oh, no. I was into that. Yep. That joint stops at a minute and 20. Oh, dude. That track was coming together nicely, and it was just abrupt. That's what makes me think something went wrong, maybe in the export process. Oh, dude. Oh, no. Oh, damn. DIXI Freely, my man. Oh, dude, that was dope. That was really dope. I was reading his submission and he was explaining that. I remember I was actually on Instagram this weekend, and I follow a lot of my people on Instagram who have Instagram accounts at Computer Music Academy if you're on IG. But yeah, we were kicking it this weekend, and apparently he's out in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. And he was saying that there was a lot of thunderstorms coming through there. He was kind of waiting for the thunderstorms to pass so he can turn on his gear, and actually get to work. And I'm assuming, because of all that, he really didn't have a lot of time to work on it. But what I heard was dope. Oh, dude. And he had like 4 parts. He literally had like an intro, like a beginning to the beat, I would say that. Then what would be the verse, and then it seemed like it was going into what was the hook, and then it just stopped abruptly. Oh man, I liked what I heard. Let's just go on that. I loved what I heard, dude. I really liked. He was saying that he didn't really get time to put the greatest mix and master job on there. What I heard was dope. Was very well done. I like those drums. Those drums are dope. They hit hard. I don't know if that was by default, those drums, or he actually put, some like reverb on there and made them hit a little harder with compression or the dynamics. I don't know. But they hit hard. Everything else in that beat was dope. I really like that. Man, DIXI, I have to hear this joint when you finish it. Send me a full version, my man. I need to hear this. Yo, oh, I'm sick that happened. Holy crap. DIXI Freely. Man, I'm sorry that it just stopped like that. Maybe it happened in the export process, but what I did here, very dope, my man. Very dope. Keep it coming. All right, we're gonna keep it going. Coming back to Detroit, Michigan. Hollering at my man, No One You Know. Let's go. Yes, sir. No one, you know, Metro Detroit represent. Great job, sir. To date, that's the best submission. And maybe the last couple caught him off guard. And at the same time, maybe woke him up. Because he even says in his submission that he's doing beats differently than he normally would, but he sees the benefits. And we're hearing the benefits. Think about those. This is his third submission, if I'm not mistaken. And think about those first couple of joints. And then look at this. This is much better. Now, it did have its flaws, but let's not even go there just yet. The drums, the mix, the sequencing, on point. The sounds that he used, on point, whether they were sample or organic elements, on point. All on point. Now, the negatives, and that's not a negative, look at it. There's a couple things. There's a couple of different elements that are too high, too sharp in the mix. And that would be the hi-hats, a little high, a little sharp, because I had to turn down my headphones. And I really had to turn down my headphones for the brass, the horns that are in the fourth quarter of that track are a little too high. And I know he's playing around, he's trying to get his mixes down and whatnot. I'm not tripping on that. That's not what's important. What's important is he did everything that I asked for in the assignment. And one thing that I forgot to say in the beginning is it's not just creating 4 sequences, patterns, or sections. You can't reuse any of those previous ones. That's why it's called Don't Look Back. But this is dope. The second thing that I definitely want you to take a look at, there was like 2 or 3 very small parts where I don't know what was happening. And I know he uses Ableton. I don't know what was happening, but it's like the sample got away from the beat. Like the sample had its own thing going, like it may have been a loop that he replayed or something. But then the beat was going in they were going in 2 different directions. Definitely check that. Go back and rework that and make sure everything is hitting along in alignment. I'll say that. Other than that, drums, hard. Drums are hitting in this particular track. I love the chops and the samples, and I think there was a couple of other organic elements, but yes. Now, cats are starting to see what's really going on here. No one, my man. Thank you, sir. That was a great submission. All right, going on to a gentleman who is our brand new member this week. And and as I've said before, it seems that we keep getting new members. Like, at least it has been like at least 1 or 2 members per week. I'll take that. And trust me. But this is a new gentleman who just came in, and he actually had an opportunity to jump in this particular podcast, and I love it. These cats work hard. Let's go. My man, Big Shad. Let's see what he's doing. Yes, sir. Big Shad making his CMA and WHA debut. Very good, sir. Not too shabby at all. That, you know what? The mix on this particular joint, very nice, very nice. I like the selection of sounds, especially the drums. The drums, again, I don't know if that had the reverb on them to kind of give it that big, that big feel, but man, it worked. It worked so well on those drums, and then everything else that's in the track. Now, let's talk about the structure. I'm not going to ding him at all, but one thing I will say, kind of cheated a little bit. Kind of cheated a little bit. So he actually has a couple of sections with he had the intro and then he had like the main beat. And within like I guess that would be the verse. I'm assuming. There was a couple of sections where he actually dropped out and had like a 4 count rest basically. And that first time, because I'm sitting here, I watched the waveform. So that first time I saw it drop and it's like it went away. I'm like, okay, and it had a nice little delay on it. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And it come back in, boom, and it was the same pattern. And I'm like, oh man, that was a great opportunity to bring, if you were going to keep somewhat of the same pattern, at least bring another element for that second part. And he actually did that after the second drop, bringing it into the third part, which again, they're all kind of the same pattern, but at least I give him this, at least he had different elements, throughout the song. And he did have a couple of other patterns. It was like a, kind of like a what I would say, a drop and a build up kind of what would you call it? I guess that would be like a chorus or a bridge. There we go. And then bringing the beat back, the original beat back at the end, which you're not supposed to do that. But I will give them mad credit because the song itself, very dope. Would like to have heard a couple of other elements on top of the song and a slight change in the patterns, with the drums, because the drums basically stayed the same throughout. But overall, he gets it. He definitely understands the assignment and the lesson, so to speak. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing that in his upcoming submission. So, Big Shad, my man, thank you, sir. And thanks for being a part of CMA. We'll see you on the next one. All right, coming up to the dude. I'm going to tease him about this until the end of time. My man that had the absolute shortest intro on the Class of 16 episode. My man, okay, Joey. Let's see what he's doing.
You know what we're here for. Lay some treats on us.
Yes, sir. Okay, Joey. Now, before we go any further, let me say this. I don't know of Joey's other work before CMA, I don't think I follow him on IG or anything. I don't know if he has an IG. I don't know if any of his other work before CMA, but he has continued to grow over these last few weeks. I think this is submission number 4 or 5, but he's been at it for a few weeks nonetheless. And this, in my opinion, is the best one so far. And it seems like he's getting better and better every week. Now, the other thing I need to point out, last week he said he used the MV 8000. I think the week before, or a couple weeks before, he was using Ableton or Machine. I can't remember which one he said. But this week, this dude is using the 5000. How much damn gear do you have, dude? What the hell? Then again, I can't speak. I can't speak. Anyhow, yo, he used some more stuff from Hello Samples. I got to get up on some Hello Sample stuff, man. Because what I'm hearing, there's been, 3 people, I think, that used Hello Samples in their submissions over the last couple of weeks. I got to check them out. Anyhow, this was dope. This was very dope. Kind of cheated again as far as keeping the same pattern. But one thing, I would say the same core pattern. I'll say that. Definitely the drums. But one thing he did do is actually change the elements and how they were played in each section. And that's what it's all about. Giving some variation, changing things up a little bit. Shout out to that big time. But I love the samples he used, especially he had like I want to say like a electric piano, and I definitely had some guitars in there, almost like a rhythm guitar, jazz guitar, whatever in there. Very nice on that. Drums and everything hitting on point. The mix sounded pretty good too. Very, very nice, my man. I see you working, and that's what it's all about. Is jumping in every week or as often as possible and continuing to build your craft and excelling and and evolving. So shout out to that, my man. Big time. Very, very, very nice submission. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, going on to my man that we haven't heard from in a couple weeks, but he's here. Let's make it happen with my man, JSP8. OKC represent JSP8. What y'all think? Is it time? Yeah, that is officially JSP's best track. JSP has been with us about a year and a half, I want to say, close to it. And this is by far his best submission to date. It is my absolute favorite beat I've heard of his, because I've heard other stuff outside of the CMA stuff. This was dope. First off the bat, the drum sounds, I don't know where you got those. I don't know if you partook in that sale that I posted a couple of weeks ago from the Loop Loft. Whew. But those live drum samples, yo. Bravo. Excellent choice and excellent use of them. Very nice. The mix, very nice. The patterns in different sections, on point. That's what I'm talking about. That is song structure right there. That's a perfect example of it. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm done. We shutting down the podcast. I'm done. No, we still got a little bit more to go. Yo, that was nice, my man. Excellent job. Keep this momentum right here. The energy and the work that you put into this joint, keep that going throughout the weeks. And JSP is not dope. He's not whack at all. Not at all. It's just now we're really beginning to see the growth. Now, because, to his credit, JSP is not always able to participate. That's between, he and I of why not. But when he does come through, he normally does a pretty good job. This by far is the best. Period. I'm done. JSP, my man. Thank you. Thank you for submitting this week. All right, let's take it down south to the north of Carolina. My man Ron B. Let's get it in. What is good, my people? Time to get paid. Approval. Stamp, 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 stamp. A plus, triple plus. Whatever. Dog. That was dope. Ooh, Lord. That right there. Man. Best track so far. My favorite track from him. Ooh, Lord. That was dope. Everything. Well, there's one element that I gotta dump on, but we'll get to that in a second. Pretty much everything about that track. Holy crap. Again, what the hell is up with the Carolinas? What's going on down there? Do I need to move there? Get some new energy or something? Holy crap. This was dope. Song structure, there. And not just the different patterns, but the song evolved. It had peaks and valleys, and really it didn't have any valleys. It had all peaks. It kept evolving throughout the track. I'll say that. The mix, dope. All of the sounds used, dope. The sequencing and structuring, dope. The only thing I hate, I don't know who the hell that you sampled that said what is it? What is good, my people? That I've heard that dude before. I can't stand his ass, man. That dude sucks. Jeez, OP. But everything else, high quality, sir. Holy crap. That is an excellent submission. Again, this is what I'm talking about. This right here is what I'm talking about. Good Lord. Okay. Ron B, thank you, sir. Good Lord. All right. Woo, let's bring it up to Detroit. Holla at my man, MICnotes. That track was missing one thing. Where's the double negative? Where the hell is that? MICnotes, my man. Double negative represent. Whew, that was dope. Again, I have to point it out. MICnotes has a style unlike anyone I have ever heard. What he does with what he has, it's just, how do you do that, man? He's, for the most part, he's a sample cat. He doesn't use a lot of instrumentation, a lot of actual instruments, plugins and stuff like that, even though he owns them. But he doesn't use a lot of that, I would say, like everyone else does. He's one shots and he's flipping stuff and stretching it and just taking it's hard to explain. But I get what he does, and he does it well. Man, he does it well. This right here, though, very dope. He had, again, it was kind of a cheat thing, but you did hear the different elements coming in and coming out. You did hear, even though it kind of had some of the same elements throughout the song, you did hear in the way in which they were used changed throughout the song. Very dope. I especially love the percussion. The percussion really makes this track. It does. Because it's like the percussion, I'm going to assume that the percussion was like the first thing that he laid down, and he built the track around the percussion. It at least feels that way. And it's worked. It really worked. I love this right here. Mike, you continue to impress, bro. Please continue. My man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, going to a gentleman that this is number 3, or is this number 4 from him, representing the DMV with that real, you know what? To say his style perfectly, it's within his name. Ladies and gentlemen, Basement Chemistry.
You are now listening to the Sonic Erotica that is Basement Chemistry.
That ending was cool. I wasn't expecting that final part. That was cool, man. Basement Chemistry, DMV represent. And offhand, I'm sorry, I can't remember which part of the DMV. Now, if you have no idea what I mean when I say DMV, it's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, because they all kind of intersect. They're all like, I went to Silver Springs once, and from what I understood, where I was standing in Silver Springs, I was literally like 10 minutes away from 2 other cities, which is crazy. So that's what we say when we say DMV, what we mean. I can't remember which part of the DMV he's from offhand, but he's definitely representing regardless. Anyhow, I love Chemistry's style because he's kind of that throwback boom bap type of cat, and he kills it. I really liked this. Now, the one thing I would ding him on, is that a pause? Is that pause worthy? The one thing I would ding the submission on is just I wish the sounds would have changed. Now, the structure of the song, there were different sequences and the patterns and the way the sounds were used did change. Shout out there. But I wish the sounds would have changed a little bit. Bring some other elements in. And for the most part, and this is how I like my boom bap. I like boom bap to kind of be kind of minimal. You know what I'm saying? I like full boom bap, but for the most part, really minimal, just rugged, hard hitting boom bap is normally minimal. You know what I'm saying? That normally works for me. That being said, though, it still could have used at least one or two more elements to kind of change up the sounds a little bit. But reading in his submission, he didn't have a lot of time, but he definitely wanted to get it in. So I'll take that in consideration. But overall, very nice. I like the breakbeat drums as he's been using. I like the different samples and whatnot. I like the vocal stabs and everything that he used. I definitely like the end. The ending threw me off. I wasn't expecting that. It would be kind of cool to see somebody, if they were rapping to that, to actually change up their whole pattern at the end to rap over that scratch part. Something like that. That would be kind of dope. That's just speaking, and let me say this. The reason why I have such an opinion on how this stuff should be done, because as far as hip hop, is because I am an ex rapper. You know what I'm saying? And not only did I rap on my beats, I rapped on other beats. And if I'm choosing beats, I'm judging these or critiquing these based on how I would pick beats, what I would like to hear. So that's my background. That's my experience right there, and the reason why I do things. But yeah, this was nice. Definitely would have liked to seen it tweaked a little bit more, but I'll take it anyway. Chemistry, my man. Thank you, sir. All right, let's head over to the West. Holla at my man, who hasn't been around for a couple of weeks, but I'm glad he's back now. Gemini 4D. Gemini 4D. Yeah, Inland Empire represent. Again, the minimal boom bap. And it works. It works. Would have loved to have seen, one or two other elements within the track, but it's again, that's definitely something that I will rhyme over. I promise you that. I promise you that. But that was dope. Love the drum sounds. His drums hit hard. Like, he's West Coast, but if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, he's originally from Detroit or at least Michigan, I think. But he spent some time, kind of all over the country, and now he's over there. So that again, that kind of influences his sound, obviously. But man, the way this joint hit with the drums, I love the bass line. Now, the one thing I would have to ding the submission on, I think we had the same pattern as far as when the horns came in, when the brass came in. I would have to go back and listen to it, but I think it was the same one. I could be wrong, and if so, my bad. But either way, though, it it still had the different change ups and skips throughout. I did. There was a skip. I want to say it was around. I could be wrong. Around the 45-second mark. I could be wrong, but it was like a boom, 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 something like that. That's what I'm talking about. The beat should not be static the entire time, straight up, because as I've said before, we as the producer, and there's a difference between beat maker and producer. We as the producer are responsible for inspiring something within the writer, be it a rapper, singer, vocal art. I'm looking for uh, uh, spoken word artist, whoever. Same thing with an instrumentalist. If they were playing over this joint, we are responsible for inspiring something within them, as well as evoking certain emotions from the listener, be it at a live event, be it in the car, on the treadmill, listening through your headphones. We're responsible for that. And I promise you, a static 3.5 minute beat, it's not going to do that. It has to have peaks and valleys. It has to have drops and mutes and little subtle change ups and skips and stuff like that. That's what I really appreciate about this submission, even though I think it could have used just a little bit more, but it's on the path. It's exactly what I'm talking about. And Gemini has been killing it and continues to kill it. Thank you, sir. All right, let's take it back over to the east and head back down south a little bit. Holler at my man, DJ Lockturnal. Charleston, South Carolina. Represent. DJ Lockturnal, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Yo, before I go any further, props to Lock for just being smooth on this one. Holy crap. This was so smooth. It's perfect. Freaking perfect, dude. Nothing lame about this track at all. Nothing weak, nothing out of place, nothing incohesive. Everything about this track was on point. There's nothing else to say. Song structure, there. Different sequences and how they, stuff that moved around and elements coming in and out, all of that, there. Mix, there. High quality. There's nothing else to say about this track. I'm done. Lock. My man. Never ceases to amaze. My man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And let's go to the closer for episode 118. This guy, TaurusBeats. Good Lord. What the hell just happened? Oh my God. You know what? I got to give it up. Let me say this first before I speak on Taurus's beat. Feel me on this. Pause if necessary. In an assignment, in a podcast that is about song structure, and go back and listen to this joint again. In a podcast where the lesson was about song structure, peaks and valleys, different pulling out different emotions and reactions within a song, somehow the podcast itself had a beautiful structure. It had a beautiful evolution. Awesome. This is such a solid podcast. Like, every submission was on point. There were no weak submissions at all. Everything was strong. Everything had its feel and whatnot. Everybody delivered. And then to have, like I said, to have it kind of come up and come back down and mellow out a little bit with Lock and then Taurus, just really like, I'm blown away. I did an interview. Well, let me go here first. Taurus comes through and just murders. And that's not his thing. He's not a negative person at all. In fact, he's one of my good friends. And I love everything about him as a person and as a musician. Taurus just come through and murders with this track. Keep in mind, Taurus is an OG. Yeah, age, but an OG as far as being at CMA, definitely an OG when it comes to music creation. He's been at it for a while. This dude has a ridiculous catalog over at his website that's available for licensing and buying and all this kind of stuff, TaurusBeats.com. But he is an OG. And in the potentially, this will be his third year of him being at CMA, because he came in at the tail end of the first. This dude is still growing, still evolving, as if he's a young buck, as if he's, still in his developmental stage. Excuse me. Killing it. This was beautiful right here. I did an interview this past weekend. And even before the interview, I repeated it in the interview, but the night before, I said, it is an absolute privilege to work with the people that I do over at CMA. And I mean that. And that's why I use the word privilege. To be around these cats. And some come in nasty. Some come in, they're okay, just starting out, but then they evolve and they grow. Getting the chance to be around all of these cats and chicks, there's a couple. And then the camaraderie and what they bring to the table and learn from each other. And I just kind of sit back and I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is very cool for me to do this. And as I've said before, when I do the podcast, I look forward to it every single week. It is my favorite day of the week when I get a chance to do this podcast and deliver it to you. And I am absolutely honored to work with all of you. I am. So thank you for that. And I kind of have to say thank you to some of the regular people like Wallace, RTO, Hertz, who else am I missing? Ray D. Who else? A couple of other people who would normally be in the podcast show. That's another one. But they let the Young Bucks run it this week. And I mean Young Bucks as in time served at CMA. And you still had a couple of regulars. You had Locke, you had Taurus, you had Notes, JSP. But for the most part, this was all new recruits. Excellent job, fellas. Shout out to TaurusBeats, DJ Lockturnal, Gemini 4D, Basement Chemistry, MICnotes, Ron B, JSP8, OK Joey, Big Shad, No One You Know, and DIXI Freely. And thank you, the watcher, the listener, who rocks with us every single week. If you would like to be a part of what we do, be in the podcast, be a part of the community, grow and make better music, come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. It is that simple. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up on Facebook, on YouTube. Give us a +1 on G+. Give us a heart or a like on Twitter and on IG. Show us some love. Spread the word. Let everybody know what you are listening to and enjoying every week. Help us grow and let us all change and make better music. I'm done for the week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll talk to you next time. See ya.